A pitcher thriving at Coors Field at one time would have been ridiculed. But meet Ubaldo Jimenez, who makes any park a hitter's nightmare. With his absurd arsenal, he's producing swings and misses at a rapid rate. Like a well-seasoned attorney, when he pitches, the defense rests. Tonight, he goes for win number 9. Slightly overcast. Welcome to lower downtown Denver. Baseball is on the menu tonight, and guess who's throwing for the Rockies? Ubaldo Jimenez will take the mound against the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Rockies, after winning 3-2 last night, are now 23-22 on the season, while the D-backs are 6 games south of 500. And good evening, everybody. I'm Drew Goodman. Yep, the soft tosser's going tonight. Ubaldo Jimenez. Consider this. He is 8-1 with an 0.99 ERA so far this year. This far into the season, he is off to one of the best starts in the history of the game. And it is not lost on his manager, Jim Tracy.
This is a prince of a human being, in my opinion. Not to mention, in my opinion, he's the best pitcher in baseball. There are things, in my opinion, that epitomize an ace. When you hold that term, or hold that title, I should say, of the lead guy in the major leagues on someone's pitching staff, you're encompassing a lot of things. There's responsibility involved with that. And, he embraces all of it. But I think that there's other things that go into that. Your character, your accountability in doing that. I weighed some of these things over the course of this past winter in asking myself the question, did I feel like he was prepared to take on all of this? And, I came to the conclusion that yes, he was.
And we welcome in Jeff Houston. I'm going to share something with you, a little television thing. Jim Tracy was asked a question about Ubaldo Jimenez naturally earlier. He went on for 4 minutes and 47 seconds about what a wonderful person he is off the field, not to mention what he does on the field. That's just 56 seconds worth what you got.
Well, and that's what Jim Tracy does. That's how much he really adores and treasures this young man, because he is a very fine human being, along as a great baseball player. And I compare him to one of my former teammates, Nolan Ryan, because every time he goes out there, you have the feeling that he's going to do something special. Yes, he's already throwing the no-hitter, but every single time he takes the hill, you see the numbers that are popping out right there. But you feel like tonight could be another one of those special nights, and that's the way I felt every single time I had the pleasure of playing behind Nolan Ryan. And that's what those guys in the dugout feel like, in the clubhouse. All those guys feel the same about Ubaldo when he goes out there.
Yeah, he had a no-hitter in Atlanta. He almost had a no-hitter in his last outing a few days back. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the offense, and that is being led of late by that man, the shortstop, Troy Tulowitzki. early evening. Game 2 of this 3-game set between the Rockies and Arizona Diamondbacks. Glad as always that you're with us. With Jeff Houston, I'm Drew Goodman. We talk now about Troy Tulowitzki, a home run in 3 straight, a home run in 4 of his last 5. He's starting to heat up.
Well, we saw it during batting practice today, really, the way he's able to take the ball the other way and then also pull the ball when it's inside now. Now he's reacting in instead of really forcing those home runs. He was worried so much about maybe hitting 30 home runs again. Now he's just letting his natural ability take over. And we've seen the results lately, and you can see what happens when he does it. The team all of a sudden wins. When he hits a home run, the ball club is now 5-0. So all those things are starting to equate to an offense that is, in my opinion, starting to wake up a little bit.
They are, and he is one of the few guys in the game, truly, that when he's on like he is, he can carry a club for a week, 10 days.
And he wants to. I mean, that's the difference. He wants to be that guy out there that sits there and goes, okay, team, hop on my back. I'm good to go.
Let's roll. We are set to go, and we know you are as well. The Rockies will send Ubaldo Jimenez to the hill tonight, looking for win number 9. Rockies and D-backs, come on back with us. By Quest high-speed internet. Get blazing fast speeds that won't burn up your wallet. By E470. E470 is quick, easy, and available to anyone. Test drive it today. By the Ford Escape. So much fun, so little fuel. Ford Escape, drive one. And by Grainger, with over 900,000 products for the ones who get it done. Inside Coors Field, we know there's been some crazy weather in the area. Hail and a tornado watch. Unfortunately, right here in Coors Field, it looks like most of the dark clouds have moved on out. That's Kelly Johnson, who was the player of the month in April in the National League. Hit 9 home runs, hit over 300 in April. He's cooled off considerably in May, though he still is tied for the league lead in home runs with a dozen. He'll be followed in the order tonight by Gerardo Parra. He's in there for Justin Upton, who lifetime's 0 for 15. Against Ubaldo Jimenez. Connor Jackson drops to the 3-hole. Steven Drewelbeck cleanup tonight. Then Adam LaRoche, Mark Reynolds, Chris Young, Chris Snyder, and the former Rocky Rodrigo Lopez on the hill for the Diamondbacks. Take a look at the scouting report on Jimenez.
Well, what can you say about Ubaldo? The fastball 91 and 99 will touch 100, even 101. Really should be 9-0, other than a couple runs he gave up out in L.A. And really a couple interesting notes about Ubaldo. So far this year, in 4 of his starts, he's allowed 0 runs. In 3 of his starts, 1 run. and the other 2 starts just 2 runs. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. We can talk about the slider, the curves, and the change. It's all set up by that locomotion number 1.
Yeah, the Express is pretty good pitch. First pitch tonight brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Text keyword pizza followed by a space and your name to 95323 to receive your Domino's special offer and to be entered to win a pizza party for 15. One weekly winner will be chosen. So the Rockies, who've won 3 straight, trying to do something they have not accomplished yet in 2010, and that is win 4 in a row. First pitch of the ball game is in there on the outside corner for a strike at 94 to Kelly Johnson.
Well, not only does Kelly Johnson have to see that first pitch, the ball is also a little bit in the sunlight.
And the next pitch poured over at 97. Quickly, it's 0-2. Beautiful night to throw. 73 degrees. And the humidity very low. Of course, in Ubaldo's last outing, he dealt with cramps in Houston, where it was muggy. And it's not the first time he has dealt with cramps. It was the first time it was visible, I think, to the public, but it's not infrequent. That fastball's inside 2-2.
Well, when you exert that much energy and that much force when you go out there and pitch and lose a lot of sweat, you just can't replenish those fluids fast enough. It was like a sauna down in Houston, and that's why he had the cramps.
This ball's hit well to right field. Brad Hopp's going to have to field it off the wall. Kelly Johnson, a leadoff double against Jimenez.
He tried to bury a couple sliders or forkballs down in the dirt, and then he came back with the fastball belt high right over the inside part of the plate. Kelly Johnson turned on it, had that top spin on it. That's why that ball hit the base of the auxiliary scoreboard out in right field.
14 doubles for Kelly Johnson, and now Gerardo Parra at the plate. He had a really good rookie year and struggled early on, was sent out, brought back up from Reno, and he pops his first pitch up to left field. This will not be able to advance the runner. Smith makes the catch. 1 out. Let's take a look at the gloves tonight for the Rockies. Seth Smith, Carlos Gonzalez, Brad Hopp in the outfield. First start since last Friday for Cargo. He's had a sore wrist. Stewart, Tulowitzki, Barmes, and Helton with Miguel Olivo doing the catching of Jimenez. That's 9 times out of the 10 starts that Olivo has caught Jimenez. There's a good look at Carlos Gonzalez. Great to see him back in the starting lineup.
Well, first time since Friday that he's been out there in the starting lineup. He came in as a defensive replacement last night. That wrist is just fine, though. Watching him take batting practice today.
Good fastball in there. A strike on Connor Jackson.
I'm a little surprised that Parr didn't try to bunt there, just to try to get somebody over to third base, maybe try to get an early lead against Ubaldo.
1 ball, 1 strike. And definitely a thought that you would have, as dominant as he is, get that runner to third somehow, some way.
It's not going to be easy to try to hook a 97-mile-an-hour fastball to get a ground ball to the second baseman.
And this is pop foul out of play. So it's a ball and 2 strikes on Jackson. Jackson last year, we talked about it, out with Valley fever for most of the year. He had a hamstring strain that sidelined him for a while earlier this year. He's more of a gap hitter, but he's a strong guy. He has only 1 home run in his last 400 plus at bats.
That's shocking for as big as he is. I mean, he is a big guy. He hits a lot of doubles.
All of a sudden, in a
Where did it come
burst
from?
Overhead, it is pouring out.
The players were looking up into the sky saying, where did this come from? Because not 2 minutes ago, it was nice and sunny.
And you can see they're gonna put the tarp in the bullpen. Jackson wiping off his helmet. Here's Jimenez, and this ball has hit the center field. Cargo's got a beat on it.
Surprised. little surprised that Kelly Johnson didn't try to tag up and go to third. Oh well, Suzuki keysed a nice ball game for the Colorado Rockies. Welcome back, Cargo. We just mentioned him a moment ago. First start since Friday. It's nice to see him back in the lineup. The bullpens. Arizona's probably going to be busy tonight with the Rodrigo Lopez, a guy that goes 6 or 7 innings. But the backside of that will have to be busy. Rockies bullpen with the Baldo out there. You don't have to start thinking about anything till about the 7th or 8th inning. Love potion number 9. You like that one, don't you, Jim?
Yeah. You're a big Elvis
Everybody
fan.
loves Ubaldo. It's time for him to go out and get win number 9. You like that one, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I've seen your Velvet and Elvis collection.
Long sideburns.
You had those last year, didn't you? 1-0 on Stephen Drew. Tough out. He had a base hit in the 9th inning last night, reached second base before Manuel Corpus struck out Mark Reynolds to end the ball game. Rockies won it 3-2. Each of the last 3 ball games at Coors Field have been decided by 1 run, and the Rockies have been on the right side of the ledger in those 1-run ball games. And this ball's well hit. Cargo, left center field. Can he get there? Yes, he can. What a running catch by Carlos Gonzalez as Stephen Drew gave it a ride to left center field. Since last Friday in Kansas City. Seth Smith will follow. Todd Helton, 3 hits last night. Tulowitzki, 4 home runs his last 5 ball games. Brad Hopp went deep last night. And then Miguel Olivo, Ian Stewart, Clint Barmes, and Ubaldo Jimenez, presented by Southwest.com. Let me correct something before everybody writes me. Love Potion number 9 wasn't an Elvis tune.
The Searchers. But the Clovers had it first.
They did?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought Elvis sung that at some point. Guess not. Rodrigo Lopez is on the hill, the former Rocky in 2007. Did well in the first half of the year, then got hurt. And this ball is lined to pretty deep left field. Going back is Connor Jackson, and he makes a great catch. But you know what? For a guy coming in who was 0 for 14, that was a really good pass.
He swung at it just like you want to take a ball away from you and hit it that way and drive it. This is 2 catches now on the last 2 nights. And we've seen Connor Jackson, one last night in the left center field gap. This one going back against the wall. And Connor's not known as a guy that is at least average out in the field. He's more of a first baseman. They moved him out there. But those catches were above average.
That pitch is low to Seth Smith. The guy who's most familiar in facing facing Rodrigo Lopez is not in the lineup tonight. That's Jason Giambi. Of course, Rodrigo's best years were in a Baltimore Oriole uniform between 02 and 06. Giambi was 11 for 35 with 4 home runs against Lopez. And the 1-1 is hit the same direction. Jackson going back. He's not going to have room to get this one. Up and over the wall. For Seth Smith, home run number 6, and the Rockies on top 1-0. The Cargo flirted with one to the opposite field. Smith hit one about 20 feet farther.
Well, you can kind of see what the lefty's game plan is against Rodrigo. Try to take that fastball that he works on the outside part of the plate the other way. Lopez now giving up a 350 average to left-handed hitters. Ball up about belt high. It wasn't even in the strike zone, but Seth Smith got that load back on that back leg, little leg kick, and he knew it as soon as he hit it that that ball was going out.
And that pitch misses to help. 5 of the 6 home runs this year for Seth Smith right here at Coors Field. Rockies have hit a home run now in 8 straight, which ties their best run of the season, which happened from opening day through the first 8 ball games of the year.
From a lot of different guys too now. They kind of go up and down the lineup.
Help pops it up. Stephen Drew waving for it.
Let's take a look at the scouting report on Rodrigo Lopez. 34-year-old will use a fastball, 87 to 91, sits right around 88, but he will cut it. That's his pitch. He likes to cut that fastball, and then to get to the slider, the changeup, he uses the corners. If he puts anything in the middle of the plate for Rodrigo, that's a mistake, because he can't do it because he doesn't have that overpowering stuff anymore after coming back from Tommy John surgery, which he had at the end of 07.
Breaking ball for a strike to Tulowitzki, who's riding a 9-game hitting streak. Michael Bourne's streak was stopped last night, so Tulo has the longest streak in the National League. 5 home runs, he's driven in 22. Hardest ball he hit last night was that line drive to right in the first inning that was caught by Upton. That's saying something when you hit a ball as far as he hit one in his next at bat. This replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. The only question last night on that swing was whether it would stay fair or not. Hey, replay any of your non-winning scratch tickets and a second chance drawing. Do it at coloradolottery.com. 0-2 on Troy.
Well, to me, the reason why he hit that home run last night, Drew, because that first at bat that you were talking about, that line drive to right field, just really got that swing going in the right path, and then he just reacted it, and that's why he hit it out.
Seeing more balls heading in that off gap area. This one's on the ground a second. Johnson will throw out Tulowitzki, but the Rockies have a 1-0 lead for Ubaldo Jimenez as Seth Smith goes opposite field home run. 1-0 Rockies as we go to the second. Rockies leading 1-0 on the Seth Smith home run. Let's take a look at our Breaks Plus Take a Break poll of the game. Text your answers to 95323. Do you like the way the All-Star team is selected? Rocks 1 for yes. I vote early and often. Rocks 2 for no. It's a popularity contest. Curveball is popped to left field. Seth Smith will gather it in, and Adam LaRoche is retired on 1 pitch. You got to like that. And a reminder that Breaks Plus is celebrating 20 years. They're rolling back prices during May only. Get $49 semi-metallic brakes and $69 lifetime brakes. Check them out at Breaks Plus. And the ballots are out for the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. In fact, we showed you last night the first round of voting. A lot of Phillies would go if it were to end today. That pitch low to Mark Reynolds. Well, Ubaldo Jimenez, in that first inning, there were a couple balls hit really hard against him. And honestly, I don't think there have been 10 balls squared up against him all year. No. And just looking at him, you know, the fastball's 96, 97. But it doesn't have the electricity, at least early in the game, that we've seen in every other start. So we'll just watch. Maybe the secondary pitches like that become more of a factor tonight.
Well, they will have to be. If you don't have that extra gear at 97 without a little bit of movement, then all of a sudden it becomes flat and straight.
Those are the ERA leaders in baseball, and that's a base hit to left on a 1-2 pitch. Here's something amazing, and there's so many numbers we can throw at you that are truly remarkable. For Ubaldo Jimenez so far this year, the 0.99 ERA is remarkable this far into the season. But how about the fact that in 4 of his 9 starts, the opposition has had 2 hits, 2 hits or less.
I mean, that's just phenomenal when you look at those kind of numbers. Because you go into a ball game as an opposing hitter going, oh man, I don't like our chances tonight. This guy's on the hill. How are we going to get a hit? How are we going to scratch out a run? But then he goes out and backs it up.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, last outing, he very well could have had a no-hitter through 7. Ian Stewart had the opportunity with Quintero hitting to field that ground ball again instead of trying to barehand it in the 4th inning. He would have used the glove, and it would have been a no-hitter through 7. And then Jim Tracy would have had a real difficult decision because 38 was cramping up pretty badly.
Well, at that point, if you leave it up to Ubaldo and whatever he thinks. I think he's kind of earned that right now to sit there and go, you know what, I don't think I can go any further. Those leg cramps might turn into a muscle pull, and that's what you worry about.
Ground ball stopped by Stewart. Did he get the lead runner? Yep. Good play by Stewart, who had a grand game yesterday on defense.
Well, he had another one of those plays against Mark Reynolds where he had to dive, come up, and make the spin throw. Tonight, off the bat of Chris Young, he goes to his left, dives, and then has a little bit of trouble just getting it out. But Clint Barmas, the wise thing right there to make sure that he acts like a first baseman. Just get that lead runner and then get out of there because you cannot turn the double play.
That'll bring up Chris Snyder.
But the reason the defense is starting to play a little bit more clean is because the pitchers are throwing more strikes. They're getting out there. They're getting the ball. They're getting the defense involved early instead of sitting back on your heels.
Chris Young a threat to run. He's 4 of 5 stealing bases. And if you're A.J. Hinch, you're going to take chances because you know you're not going to have typically a lot of opportunities. That's foul. A lot of high-quality swings and contact early in this game against Ubaldo Jimenez, who has, if you look at A.J. Hinch, who has become far more than a thrower. His career has evolved.
Well, when you have they've given up only 36 hits or 37 hits now in a little over 64 innings. I mean, that tells you that it's not just throwing. He understands that you need to throw harder. You need to throw the breaking pitches. Use both sides of the plate. Pitch up and pitch down.
He's had the highest average fastball in the game the last couple of years. This year he's averaged just under 97. And they're two-seam fastballs. Typically have that sinking movement. Snyder stayed off it. It's 2-1. Snyder hitting out of the 8-hole. 2 outs, Young at first. Rockies up 1-0 on the Seth Smith home run. Rob Apodaca told me before the game that Jimenez, other than his normal long run on the day after he pitches, went through a normal routine between starts. And despite the cramps in his last outing, the only thing he backed off on was he didn't go on his 6-7 mile morning run the day after.
But that kind of goes to show you how things are a little different sometimes.
Big jump for Young, got a ground ball to third. Stewart takes his time and he throws to Helton, and that's all for the Diamondbacks in the second. They got a hit from Reynolds, one left, 1-0 Rockies, middle of 2. Rockies leading 1-0 on the Seth Smith home run. Ubaldo Jimenez and Rodrigo Lopez hooking up. Who wants tacos? Fans, remember, when the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies tacos special. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. Well, the Rockies are on their way, Hugh, because if they score a run in every inning, in the 9th inning's not necessary, they'll have 8 runs at the end of the evening.
Boy, you are good with your math, aren't you?
Absolutely.
That's what that Ithaca College degree will do for you.
That's what it will do for you. Brad Hopp at the plate. .319 average, 4 home runs, including 1 last night. And that's a strike on the outside corner. Let's take a look at that home run last night. It's brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. He was sitting on a changeup. He got a changeup, and he used the 9-iron to poke it over the right field wall. Swung on and missed. Again, play those non-winning scratch tickets a second time at ColoradoLottery.com.
Well, that's a veteran guy going up there and knowing what the pitcher's going to throw to you. So last night he sat on a changeup with a couple strikes on him. Young guys won't do that.
Well, Jeff, it's also, you know, following a scouting report. They spend time in meetings. Hey, this is what the pattern's been. This young man, Ian Kennedy, when he's up 0-2-1-2, look changeup. I mean, that's been a trend.
And that's why you have those meetings.
Strike 3 on Hopp. He got frozen on an 89-mile-an-hour, well-located fastball. Let's take a look at the defensive alignment tonight for Arizona. Jackson, who's already made a gorgeous play in this game. Chris Young, who covers a lot of ground. And Gerardo Parra. Reynolds and Drew left side. Kelly Johnson and Adam LaRoche. LaRoche has made some errors, but he picks the ball very well on low throws. Chris Snyder hasn't made an error in 230 games, but that can be misleading. He's an average receiver.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he had the trouble last night with the pass ball or the wild pitch that could have been blocked. But sometimes that is part of his problem just because he's such a big guy. He has a tough time getting down on those. But he catch and throw guy, Tim for 29, 34% of the runners he's thrown out.
Yep. looking solid. 0-1 on Miguel Olivo. And that misses 1-1. In fact, I was having a conversation with Chris Snyder before the game. And I said, have you always caught? Because he's a big man. He's 6'4". He's 240 pounds. I said, did they ever try to move you to first or anything because of how large you are? And he said, no. And he said, one of the reasons is I pride myself on my flexibility. I've always been able to get down low. And he goes, I even say to the umpires, are you able to see the low strike? So
I know one thing. You don't want to have a collision with him at home plate.
No, sir.
Go ahead and just slide on that one.
Yeah. And this is poked to right. Good job by Olivo covering the outside portion of the plate. And Miguel is aboard with 1 out.
Well, now he's 10 for his last 16 here at Coors Field. Rodrigo Lopez tried to go slider, 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 everything away. You can see on the 4th strike zone, and that pitch was even off the plate, but the same spot. And he just kind of punched that ball like a little soft tennis shot back into right field. In the Southwest Skycam, see how far off the plate that Snyder was in trying to receive that ball, but covering it because he took that top hand of the bat off the bat.
Now here's Ian Stewart, who had a terrific game yesterday, not only on defense, but he threw out a couple of hits and a walk on the offensive end of things. Take a look at the Amica hit zone for Stewart with a 285 average, 6 home runs. All of those home runs, folks, out on the road.
That's shocking. I mean, his slugging percentage out on the road compared to what it is at home. Some of those numbers that we see in the Amica hit zone will go up, especially that one down and in.
He's going to hit plenty here. It's a buggy whip swing, no baseball, 1 ball, 1 strike. For each Colorado hit from now through the end of the year, Amica Insurance will donate $10 to the Boys and Girls Club of Denver. Thanks, Amica. There's the splits this year.
And think about that. 2 of those home runs, one were in San Diego that they won in extra innings, and then further on, L.A. that won to dead center field.
We were watching him in batting practice. He was hitting the ball effortlessly in the second deck, and sometimes in right center field. I mean, that's 450 feet up there.
Without grunting and really trying to muscle the ball out there. It was just a nice and relaxed swing, and bam, it was gone.
I don't know if television does it justice, but Ian Stewart is a big, strong kid. He's 230, 235 pounds. He's thick.
He looks like a linebacker.
He does. I mean, legitimately so. He is built like a linebacker. There goes Miguel Olivo, and Snyder will not even throw. And Miguel's got himself another stolen base.
Number 3 on the season now from Miguel. You could tell that he was kind of jumping off there, and he got a great jump, and Snyder thought wisely about, you know what, I'm not even going to throw this ball because I might throw it away into center field, let him get to third.
A sneak attack by Miguel Olivo, who in AAA one year stole 29 bases. He prides himself on every aspect of the game. Career high in bags a couple of years ago with the Royals. He stole 7, but he's going to get more opportunities, I think, here. 2-2.
Well, it's a different game. I mean, in the American League, you wait for that 3-run home run. Sometimes here you can take advantage of those stolen bases. He has 3 right now. By the end of the season, he can definitely have 10 or 12.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Stewart. Lopez, you can see how he's working Stewart. Everything's off speed.
Well, he doesn't want him to catch up to that fastball. He saw what happened to his first couple fastballs with Carlos Gonzalez and Seth Smith. They hit that ball over to left field. Now he says, you know what, I got to junk that and go to more of a junk type pitcher where I'll throw my off-speed pitches to set up my fastball. I'm not going to show that too often, though.
1 out, Olivo in scoring position at second. Rockies up 1-0. And this is bouncing up the middle. And Drew to be able to throw out Stewart. Olivo crossed. He's at third for Clint Barmas. Let's take a look at our Geico quote of the day from our friend next door, Mark Grace. Hey, you have to give him credit. Most guys don't start cheating until later in their careers. On Byung-Hyun Kim, who was caught with a bandage reeking of a foreign substance. And when they went to examine the foreign substance, they brought in Dr. George Frazier because he was an expert on foreign substances on his body when he pitched.
A lot of guys.
Georgie, I know you're watching it also. That's just our way of sending you a little love.
Nothing illegal with putting a little Vaseline, I guess. Or was it more spit for George?
He had all kinds of tricks. 2-0 on Barmas. Lopez will be careful with Jimenez on deck.
It's kind of the same situation that Clint was in last night against Ian Kennedy. 2-0 count. They went something soft. They went soft right there, too, with the slider outside.
Here's a subtle difference with the guy at least on deck, in that Chacin hasn't demonstrated yet, he's a kid at this level, that he's going to give you a real decent at bat. Jimenez, though he's not great, is vastly improved offensively and can throw out his share of hits. In fact, last year I think he had 13 hits after compiling a very poor average his first 2.5 seasons.
Well, it's just learning how to hit at the big league level, really, for Ubaldo. Yeah, he is more accomplished because he's seen more pitches, has more games underneath his belt. But you could tell from that whole at bat that Lopez wanted no part of Clint Barmas.
This is chopped high for Lopez. He's got a fire out at first. Bang, bang play as Ubaldo got up the line. And the out call saves a run for Arizona. And Jim Tracy's going to have a discussion now with first base umpire Sam Holbrook.
Well, right off the plate, Rodrigo Lopez comes over and makes the strong throw, slips a little bit. Tough to tell from that angle. Sam Holbrook said he was out. Better look from the Hyundai cam.
You know what? I think he got it right.
He did. But the good thing is Ubaldo did not get hurt running down the line.
1-0 Colorado as we move to the third. Colorado Rockies baseball on FSN is brought to you by AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Brakes Plus, a whole lot more. By Tri-State Generation, Tri-State, the power behind your local electric co-op. And by Hyundai, get more style, more MPG, and more value at your Colorado Hyundai dealers today. First pitch to Rodrigo Lopez, missed ball one. So Lopez and then the top of the order. And that's on the outside corner.
Well, it's kind of nice for Ubaldo that he has the pitcher Lopez to start out this inning after having to run so hard down the line, to come out and not have to go right to the top of the order for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, that's a good point. Really good point. Managers always cringe. I mean, you played at this level for a long time. When you were in there, on the occasion you weren't playing, do you ever look at the manager going, oh, no, this is what we want?
No, exactly. And I think to Houston the other day when he kind of pulled up a little bit running down the line. And that was the first thought that went through my mind, and he's trying to leg that out for a base hit.
Well, let's check in with Alana Rizzo. Congratulations, by the way, to Ubaldo. That's career strikeout number 500.
And because of play like that, Drew and Jeff, you know what? He's finally starting to get some national attention, some national recognition. USA Today, Jorge Ortiz wrote an article about Ubaldo that appeared in the May 18th edition, and it was all about really every single facet of Ubaldo's life. It was about the fact that he grew up in poverty in San Cristobal, Dominican Republic, the fact that education was extremely important to his family, and his family didn't want him to take an early signing bonus. They wanted him to get educated. Work ethic growing up there, how it's translated to the mound, the humility and grace he showed specifically in contract negotiations and contract signings with the Colorado Rockies, and the national attention. It's nice to hear him in the Cy Young conversation, not just here with us in Colorado, but really the national recognition. You hear so much about Doc Holliday, obviously with Philadelphia and that East Coast bias, but Ubaldo slowly but surely, not fast enough in my opinion, but slowly but surely getting that recognition, guys.
You know, and that's not what he's about. You know that, Alana. Jim Tracy, in his 4 minutes and 47 seconds, of which, you know, we shared with you about 56 seconds, he prefaced his comments as Gerardo Parra takes strike one, saying, listen, I don't want to, you know, as he said, filibuster about this. And then he went on for nearly 5 minutes. And he said on 2 different occasions, this is a prince of a human being. More important than anything, he said, this is one of the finest human beings I've ever been around. What praise, huh?
He hasn't changed. I mean, that's the thing about it. Some guys, when they get the little success, whatever, at the big league level, all of a sudden you walk into that locker room and it's like, who is that guy? But not Ubaldo. He's not that way. He's a guy that you can still sit there and talk to, and he'll smile at you, and he'll do everything, and he'll also go out there and work his tail off.
Yeah, sometimes you look at somebody and they're so polite and so nice, and you think, well, what kind of competitor are they? He's a vicious competitor. Don't
confuse the two.
Yeah, don't confuse the two. That's a great way of putting it, Jeff.
And certain guys have that ability to be nice, but then when the lights come on or they go between the lines, it's like a different person.
This is going to be a base hit for Parra, and Gonzalez will fire it back in. So a 2-out knock, the third of the ball game. That's already above the average for the opposition against Ubaldo this year. The opposition averaging 2.4 hits a game. I mean, that's absurd. I'll bring up Connor Jackson.
But I think we at times just expect Ubaldo to go out there and throw a no-hitter every single time out there, or if he gets a couple of hits off him, it's like, wow, what's wrong with him? Yeah. Well, you know what? He's a human being. He's going to have nights where the fastball doesn't have that maybe the little extra life. He's got to pitch more, as you mentioned early on. He's got to go more breaking pitches. Who knows? He might give up 7 hits tonight.
1 strike count on Connor Jackson.
And don't forget to join us here at May 30th for Quest Military Appreciation Day. Arrive early for the pregame celebration. Quest Military Appreciation Day.
Sizable lead for Parra at first. Another footnote on what Alana was telling you about his family and the USA Today piece. His sister's in med school in the Dominican Republic. She aspires to be a pediatrician, so you understand even more how important education was to the Jimenez family.
Well, it's just nice that finally getting a little recognition for this guy. Yep. What he's done so far, a lot of times it just gets lost as far as what he's been able to accomplish.
Snap throw. Elton applied the tag on Para, and that was very close.
He gets a secondary lead and got turned just a little bit. The snap throw down there got his right hand into the back side of the bag. That's the only reason he got back. If he would have come more toward the middle part or to the front part of the bag, Todd would have been able to get him, and he would have been out. Sam Holbrook's had a couple tough calls tonight down there at first base, and he's gotten both of them right so far.
1-1 on Jackson.
There's Sam.
Jerry Davis is behind the plate. He's the crew chief. Brian Knight's at second. Greg Gibson at third. Rockies up 1-0. 2 outs, top of 3. Ground ball to short. Tulowitzki the short way to his partner Clint Barnes, and the Diamondbacks are done in the third. Rockies will have the top of the order when we come back to 20th and Blake. Seth Smith a home run, and that's the difference in the ball game right now. 1-0, bottom of the third. This date in history brought to you by Dex One Marketing Solutions Business Results, May 26, 1993. Remember this? Carlos Martinez of the Indians hits a fly ball, and it lands on Jose Canseco's noggin and caroms off his noggin over the fence. Home run. And that was the difference as the Indians edged the Rangers 7-6 that day. One of the more infamous plays over the last 20, 30 years.
The funny thing about it is he came in the dugout and tried to say it went off his glove.
Oh, you were playing with Texas.
Yeah,
then.
I was
right.
there then,
okay.
and it went off his head, and everybody was in the dugout going, "Did that just go off his head?" But finally, it was like, "Yeah, it did." And he comes in and goes, "Oh, that went off my glove. That went off my glove." And I was like, "No, it didn't."
This wasn't pre-television.
Yeah.
2-0 on Cargo, who was robbed of at least a double by Connor Jackson his first time up. I mean, he hit a high rocket that Connor Jackson made a running catch as he ran into the left field wall. So Cargo trying to snap an 0-for-15 slide. Here's the 3-0, and that's high. Ball 4. So a leadoff walk for Gonzalez. Time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Seth Smith, right after Cargo got robbed, said, "Don't worry, I got your back. I'm going to hit it not only over Jackson, I'm going to hit it over the wall." Sixth home run of the season for Seth Smith, our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast.
This shows you how strong Seth Smith is. All away from him a little bit. He hit it right on that sweet spot of the bat.
Cargo chase back to first. Gonzalez this year 5 of 9 stealing bases.
He can get a good read right now off of Lopez. He saw what he did with Miguel Olivo out there. He'll probably be a little bit quicker to the plate now that he's got somebody that he really feels like can steal a base.
And this is in the air to left field, but playable for Jackson. Repair that chip in your windshield. Call Safelite Elite Auto Glass 303-287-5000 online at safelight.com. Todd Helton up. He popped his short his first time. Last night was his second 3-hit game of the year. His first 3-hit game of the year came in the opening series in Milwaukee. It was the second game of the season. He now has 174 3-hit games in his career. Next on the list, Dante Bichette. 51 behind him. Bichette, who we just saw recently, last homestand. It was great to see Dante. 123. Larry Walker, 116 3-hit ball games. Todd's 11th on the active list. There's a list for everything, as you know, in baseball. Number 1 is Derek Jeter. He has 246 3-hit games.
Carlos was leaning just a little bit there. With that little bit of rain that we had right at the start of the ball game, what happens is that the areas right around the bases where you're trying to take off, sometimes that'll get a little extra moisture, get that clump in your cleats, and you don't get the clean start that you would like.
He got a big start there. Snyder's throw is sunk in. It is not in time. I'll tell you what, Snyder got rid of the baseball quickly. Good jump by Gonzalez.
Well, and that's what it was. As soon as Lopez came set, it was almost simultaneously when he took off and when Lopez delivered the ball to the plate. Great jump from Carlos, head down, makes the head first slide. It was Snyder made the throw on it just fine, but the high throw just a little bit from the Hyundai cam where Stephen Drew had to go up and get it and then come all the way back down to try to tag him. It was too late. 6 stolen base on the season now for Carlos.
Helton at the plate in an RBI situation. 2-0 count on Todd. Rodrigo Lopez, very well respected and well liked in the clubhouse during his short time with the Rockies. He's a professional.
Pitched 14 games for the Rockies back in '07.
And this is Luke to left. 2 outs, and Tulowitzki will come up. I asked Troy before the ball game around the batting cage, are you like us? I mean, you get a little extra bounce in your step when you know Jimenez is on the mound. And he answered it in an interesting way. He said, yeah, I mean, he's a joy to work behind. He's thrilling to watch because he can do some unbelievable things. He said, but I don't want us to get in the mode where, Ubaldo's on the mound, we can just go through the motions, it's an automatic W. He said, because there's going to be a time where he's human and has an outing that doesn't necessarily go his way. So we can't assume, we just, go out and score a run or two and the ball game's over.
But it's easy to fall in that trap when a guy's had the success that Ubaldo's had this year. 8-1 could be 9-0, where you go out there and say, Ubaldo's on the hill. All these, we get one run, we're going to win. That's not necessarily the case because that puts a lot of pressure on that young man right there. But at the same time, you do get some more energy. It happened every single time, and I mentioned it in our open when Nolan Ryan went out there. It's just like, you got a nice feeling about your chances tonight.
Man, that's a broken bat. That didn't sound right. Maybe not. Didn't that sound like the bat broke?
It did sound weird. Definitely, if that was a cup bat, then that would have been a shattered in. He would have had to go get some new lumber.
Ball and 2 strikes on Troy, riding a 9-game hitting streak.
This is kind of the area that the Rockies overall as a ball club need to clean up a little bit. Runners in scoring position with 2 outs, just hitting .205 on the season.
Yeah, near the bottom of the big league standings in that department. Well, Lopez has always been a pitcher. He doesn't have he's never been a super hard thrower, but he doesn't have the velocity that he used to have, and he is clearly, especially at the middle of the order guys, staying away.
Well, if he was left-handed, what would we call him?
A soft tossing lefty, a crafty lefty.
Crafty lefty. Well, right now he's a crafty righty because he doesn't have that hard fastball. And in consequence, because of that, his sliders, his changeup, everything else is not quite as crisp either.
Three and 2.
No matter if it's a righty or a lefty, most of the hitters right now can pretty much just forget about the inside part of the plate and just really close off the pull side. You might end up pulling it over that way, but he's going to try to work you away, so you're going to have to hit it as a right-hander in the right center field gap.
Rockies 12-7 in their home yard. And they're now 8-8 against the National League West. This is game 2 of 12 in a row inside the division. The Dodgers come a-calling this weekend. And then it's out to San Francisco and then to Phoenix to see the Diamondbacks again. The next couple of weeks will take the Rockies well into June. That bounces up there, so Tulowitzki will pass the baton to Brad Hopp. Not a bad guy to hand things off to.
And that's what you're trying to do as a ball club. You're trying to make sure that, okay, I'll pass it on to the next guy, and then the guy after that, especially with the D-backs bullpen.
Here's the Amica hit zone on Brad Hopp. See the 250 down and in. That's where he hit the home run last night.
A lot of high red numbers for Brad Hopp. That's why he's hitting well over 315.
And this ball's driven out deep right center field. Young chasing. He won't get there. It's off the wall. One run is scored. Tulowitzki is trotting home. Brad Hopp, a stand-up triple, make it 3-0 Colorado.
We just saw Brad Hopp's Amica strike zone. Where's he like that ball? He hit the ball out last night with the ball down and in. This one wasn't even a strike. It was inside. He just pulled those hands in and still hit a ball inside to right center field. He wasn't concerned about trying to pull it for a home run. He hit it to the deep center part, right center field part of the ballpark and drove in both the guys that had walked this inning.
There's that 2-out hit you were looking for, Jeff.
Well, and those are the backbreakers, too, because as an opposing team, you're sitting there going, man, we almost had it.
Outside ball 1 on Miguel Olivo. Look again on the Hyundai cam.
And Lopez just tried to come in for effectiveness. Four-seam fastball. Brad Hopp gets that right foot down. Not the high leg kick this year, but that back left elbow just dropped down to get the barrel through the zone.
1-1 on Olivo. Olivo threw out a hit to right field, protecting the outside portion of the strike zone in the second inning. 3-0 Colorado. Lopez out of the windup.
That was the Rockies' 15th triple this year.
Well, with the vast expanse here at Coors Field, the Rockies typically are among the league leaders in triples.
Well, Arizona is number 1. They also like the third inning, huh?
Yeah, 51-16. You kidding me? 3-1 on Miguel. 2 walks last night in the ball game for the 8th time in his career.
Back-to-back walks too. So I think that's the first time that's ever happened to him. I asked him today about that.
pulled the string a little bit. I was talking to Don Baylor, you and I both were, and he was laughing. He said, I had him at Jorvi Torrealba when he was the hitting instructor in Seattle. He said, I don't think they walked twice between them the whole year.
The only time they walked was when they were walking up to the home plate.
Yeah.
Lopez got him, tried to get him out with the slider away, see if he goes back to that same pitch. Nope.
Right. Sped up the at bat with a fastball, and he got him. But Brad Hopp got Rodrigo Lopez. A 2-run triple to deep right center field, and the Rockies are leading the Diamondbacks 3-0. Let's get you caught up on this one with our Land Rover game recap. First inning, Seth Smith at the plate. Rodrigo Lopez left one out over the plate. And then it got left out over the left field wall. Seth Smith with his 6th home run of the year. And then moments ago, 2 aboard, 2 outs. Brad Hopp nearly hit one out. He had to settle for a triple and 2 RBIs as Gonzalez and Tulowitzki, who had both walked, come around. 3-0 Colorado on the Land Rover game recap. Here's Stephen Drew, the 4-hole hitter tonight, and he gets a sinking fastball at 93. It's 0-1. Drew hit one really hard his first time up to deep left center field that Carlos Gonzalez made a wonderful running catch on.
And that's why you need guys that have speed here at Coors Field. These big gaps, you need to be able to run those balls down. That's what Carlos Gonzalez does. That's what Dexter Fowler does.
He can get away maybe with the guy that doesn't run great if you play 81 games where he used to play Wrigley Field, perhaps.
Sure. Not here.
But not here. No way.
You'll get eaten alive with some extra runs.
In fact, you'd like to have 2 center field types, and when Fowler's playing and Gonzalez is on one of the corners, it really gives you a nice luxury. 3-1. That was a changeup. Jimenez has allowed 1 hit in each inning. Johnson a leadoff double. That ended any of the no-hit talk. And this ball on the ground to second. Barnes pulls it to his chest. 1 out. Today's Fast Cash sideline report is brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold. Let's check in again with Alana.
All right, guys, thanks very much. You know, Carlos Gonzalez already had that great catch here in this ball game. You might remember last night, 4 great defensive plays by the Colorado Rockies, 2 by Ian Stewart, top of the 7th, that throw from his knees, top of the 9th, that difficult pop-up that he got in the Diamondbacks dugout. After the game, he said, you know what, I've been waiting to make plays like that. He was talking about what you two were talking about earlier, that it's so much easier for the defense to be on their toes when a pitcher throws strikes and when he pitches quickly. And I know, Huey, I could imagine as a defender as well, you don't want a human rain delay out on the mound. The guys appreciate that in the field. And he said, we know that this defense can do that. They showed that in the last couple games, guys.
That's a great point, Alana, because you spend more time waiting in between pitches. Next thing you know, your mind starts to wander just a little bit. And, all of a sudden the ball's hit. It's just out of your reach. And it's so nice when you get that guy to get in the ball, get right back on the mound, has an idea of what he wants to do. Now you're into every single pitch on the balls of your feet.
Good spot there at the breaking ball. It's 1-2 on Adam LaRoche, who came into the ball game 4 for 9 lifetime against Jimenez. Now 4 for 10 after hitting fly ball to left field, and he's a strikeout victim. 2 outs. That's strikeout number 2 for Ubaldo. 2 gone in the 4th. Rockies up 3-0.
Hard slider from the Hyundai Cam, just pulled the string. LaRoche was so off balance out in front, he just couldn't reach it.
Now A.J. Hinch is kind of hidden there. Well, that guy used to play for the Tigers and the Dodgers, Kirk Gibson. But I was talking to A.J. yesterday, and I'll have to tell you the story next inning. This is a fly ball to shallow center. Cargo makes a catch. Mark Reynolds retired. I'll tell you about a story he related to the South Florida media about Ubaldo Jimenez. 3-0 Rockies. Ian Stewart will lead it off in the bottom of the 4th. Rockies trying to win their 4th straight. They do not have a 4-game winning streak yet this year. Ian Stewart to lead it off. Our AT&T trivia question: who is the last second baseman to lead either league in home runs? Kelly Johnson right now tied for the lead in the National League with a dozen. Rodrigo Lopez starts out Stewart with a curveball first strike. He went predominantly off speed against Stewart. When he faced him in the 2nd inning, Stewart hit a ground ball to short. I should mention that Kelly Johnson is tied with Dan Ugla, another second baseman, for the league lead in home runs.
Well, between Kelly Johnson and Adam LaRoche, that tandem leads the National League in home runs.
They have one more than a pretty good second baseman by the name of Chase Utley in Philadelphia, and a pretty good first baseman by the name of Ryan Howard. There's the 2 that are leading. 2 second basemen, then Ethier, who's on the DL. 2-2.
Everything, as you mentioned, Drew, had been soft to Ian Stewart. They try to lock him up away.
They did. He painted the outside corner, and perhaps Stewart in his mind was thinking of something off speed. Strikeout number 3 for Rodrigo Lopez. All right, the A.J. Hinch story. So last week, Arizona played a 2-game series. The Rockies had a couple of those down in Florida. Josh Johnson threw a very good ball game at them, and Josh Johnson very capable of that, big, strong right-hander. And he throws in the mid to high 90s. And the South Florida media after the ball game, as Barmas takes strike 1, wanted A.J. Hinch's quote, thoughts on Johnson. And they're saying, hey, is he the best pitcher you've seen in the National League? And he said, well, guys, you know what? He's really good. But there's a fella in Colorado by the name of Ubaldo Jimenez, and I know sometimes the games are a little bit late for you all back here. And I mean, AJ's unfailingly nice, so I'm probably making this a little more.
But I like the way you're telling it.
But AJ, he did say, he goes, I thought for a moment, I wanted to praise Johnson. He said, but it's like they don't know what goes on in the western part of the country. He said, there's a kid in Colorado, Ubaldo Jimenez, who right now is the best pitcher in baseball, and he throws even harder than Josh Johnson, and he's got a nastier arsenal. So Johnson's good, but Jimenez is something else. This ball's driven to center field. Chris Young will get there. And he said, that's not to mention, we have a guy named Dan Herron who's pretty good. There's a guy named Lincecum in the division. Clayton Kershaw with the Dodgers.
Matt Cain. I mean, the list goes on and on. I think it goes back to the point that Alana made earlier tonight. It's finally starting to get a little bit of recognition for Ubaldo and just how special this young man is by getting a headline in the USA Today. I mean, that just doesn't happen very often, and all of a sudden, boom, there's his picture and the story of how he grew up. But yeah, those guys are in bed before our games are over sometimes. So they just they'll look at the box score.
Well, sometimes you miss some good players on the West Coast. Easy play at first for LaRoche. A 1-2-3 inning, first of the ball game for Rodrigo Lopez. We'll go to the fifth. We'll talk to Jim Tracy when we come back. 3-0 Colorado.
Strikes early in the count. They're not going to be able to sit quite as long on the fastball as they were the first time through the order, Drew.
Thank you very much.
Back at Coors Field, Rockies leading 3-0 as promised. Here's Jim Tracy. Trace, it's almost silly to say this, but with Ubaldo Jimenez, who's still throwing 96, 97, maybe has to pitch a little bit more tonight. He doesn't have that electric fastball. Fair statement?
Well, I think it's more so this, Drew. I think that the plan of attack offensively over there on the other side of the field is obviously to hit his fastball. And he wasn't exactly pinpoint early on in the game and locating it. So a few balls got squared up and hit harder than we're accustomed to. But I think the other thing that now is going to make it difficult for him in these last couple of innings, you've seen him start to establish his breaking ball for strikes early in the count. They're not going to be able to sit quite as long on the fastball as they were the first time through the order, Drew.
Well, thank you very much as always. Jim Tracy joins us on Wednesday night. And true to form, he mixed the breaking ball in there, and then he gets the punch out of Chris Young. That's strikeout number 3, 1 out in the 5th inning for Ubaldo.
But that's just where he's matured, though. Ubaldo realizing, you know what, the fastball, I don't have that good command of it, but I've got good command of the breaking pitch, so I'll use that a little bit more tonight. But that's just the maturation of going from a guy that is a thrower to a pitcher.
Snyder was saying before the ball game, you have to try to sit on the fastball. You're going to look for something else when a guy throws 100. And you got to get ready early. And he said you got to go up there with a 2-strike mentality from Jump Street.
The thing, as a hitter, when a guy's throwing really hard, you think you have to swing harder. There's just something in your brain that just says, wait, he's throwing hard, I'm going to swing hard. Well, it's just the opposite. Guys throwing hard like Ubaldo, you've got to take an easier, more simple approach, and that's where it goes back to that 2-strike approach that they're talking about. Just nice and easy, and he'll provide the power. You don't have to, because the ball meeting that bat square will do okay.
This ball's lined to left center field. Smith is over there. Snyder hit it hard. Seth Smith catches out number 2. Time for tonight's Quest high-speed pitch. Ubaldo's hit 98 a couple of times. Rodrigo Lopez has hit 90. It's brought to you by Quest, the high-speed internet provider of the Colorado Rockies. And here comes Lopez with 2 outs in the 5th inning.
That's a neat shot right there.
It is a neat shot, and the gods appreciating the work of Ubaldo Jimenez, not only tonight, but all season long. 8-1. The one loss, he gave up 2 hits in 7 innings against the Dodgers. And one of the hits didn't leave the infield.
That was a great camera shot by Bo McWilliams there. And on the first base side. Nice work, Bo.
This is a big time of year for Bo, because during the first half of the day, Bo watches the French Open.
French Open, yeah. Right?
And then he comes to work. One of the biggest tennis fans in our state, and a good player. So Bo's fired up about what's going on in the red dirt. That's a base hit for Rodrigo Lopez.
His 3rd hit on the season.
Now that'll bring up a dangerous man, Kelly Johnson, who doubled off the right field wall beginning the ball game, and then grounded to second his last time up. Ubaldo wants another baseball. Let's answer the AT&T trivia question. Who was the last second baseman to lead either league in home runs? Davey Johnson with the Braves hit a lot of home runs one year, but it wasn't him. It was Ryan Sandberg with 40 and 90 for the Cubs. You played with Ryan.
I played actually against him.
Oh, okay, you didn't play with him?
Yeah, but now he's managing down in Des Moines AAA. He's kind of worked his way up the ladder, taking a different route, trying to get to the big leagues.
Quite a player.
He was. He could do it all. Good hit. Play some Gold Glove. Second base.
Which was hard to do on that infield, wasn't it?
Oh, it was awful then. Now it's much better because they flattened it out, taking the crown out of there. It used to be real bad.
Here's the 2-1 on Johnson, and it's pulled to first. Help with a fancy pickup. Speaking of Gold Glove defense, that man owns 3 of them and probably should own more.
Not an easy play. He gets it. Beats Kelly Johnson in the bag.
Todd Helton with the great glove work. Our Home Depot doing more on defense. That gets the Rockies to the dugout. Here in the bottom of the 5th inning, nursing a 3-0 lead. Rockies left the top of the order. Carlos Gonzalez, Seth Smith, and then Todd Helton.
That's what makes Todd Helton so valuable. Even though he's not putting up the numbers that people expect or he expects of himself, he still goes out there and saves so many runs with his glove.
Hands down. And this game, we get enamored by offense. We all love it. But the game's about run prevention. And the more runs you prevent, the more you win baseball games. Pitching, defense.
Well, we've seen it a couple with the catch that Carlos Gonzalez had in center field in the 1st inning. I mean, that saved a run. All those little plays, all of a sudden now you sit there and you give your ball club a chance to win. Pitching and defense is number 1 and number 2. The offense is number 3.
And this is in the air to deep left field, but Connor Jackson, a couple steps inside the track, will make the catch. Today's health report brought to you by the Exemplis St. Joseph Cardiac and Vascular Institute, the most hearts, the most experience. And good news on Jorge De La Rosa. It's a process. It's a long process. But today he long tossed with no pain, and there was no tape on his finger. They were using tape to protect that tendon area. And so progress has been made. And again, there's no timetable. But I think the Rockies are going to get themselves a heck of a starting pitcher for the second half of the season, and maybe a little bit in the first half of the season as well.
You know, it's kind of like making a trade for a guy that you don't have to give anything up for. And that's what you're getting from Jorge when he's able to come back whenever it is. It's 4 weeks. Is it 6 weeks? Who knows? But to get him back in the starting rotation, and that's just that shot in the arm that you need right around the All-Star break or so.
2-0 on Smith, and he hits a high fly ball to deep right field. Did he get it? Not quite. Bidding for his 2nd home run of the year. The tank ran out of gas, about 5 feet shy of going over the wall. That'll bring up Helton, pop to short, and a fly ball to left.
Fans, $59 Coca-Cola value packs are available on all May games.
Helton takes a strike. Lopez has retired 6 in a row. Rockies have a solo home run from Seth Smith and a 2-run, 2-out triple from Brad Hopp in the 3rd inning. Change up down low. Brad Hopp, Jim Tracy engaged in the conversation.
And that's what Jim is so good at, talking to his players not only before the game but during the game with little subtleties. Okay, how did he kind of pitch you last time? What do you think he's going to do this time to you? And that's exactly what they're talking about is look at that ball away from you and then try to drive it the other way this time, because he came in. That was a mistake. See what he does this at bat.
This is a hard hit ball that Kelly Johnson comes up with, and that retires the side. So 7 in a row set down by Rodrigo Lopez. We turn the page to inning number 6, 3-0 Colorado. 1% mortgage cash back. Chase what matters. By Big Brothers Big Sisters, donate your car, you get a free tow, a tax break, and you'll help change a kid's life. Buy steel in your local steel dealers. For a location near you, visit steeldealers.com. And by the Colorado Lottery, don't forget to play. The gorgeous sunset in our beautiful state. And the Rockies in a nice state as well. They're up 3-0, sixth inning. And Jimenez starts out Gerardo Parra with a curveball that misses high. Parra hitting out of the 2-hole, 1 for 2.
Well, so far tonight, Ubaldo, 5 ground ball outs, 6 fly ball outs, and 3 strikeouts.
Hey, you know, here we were talking about run prevention. The Rockies, after winning last night 3-2, have a team ERA of 3.86. Let me tell you how good that is. Their lowest ever was last year, 4.22, a playoff team. Their previous low was 4.32 in the World Series season of 2007. And though the Rockies haven't hit like they're capable of, haven't consistently played the good defense, the ERA suggests, even with De La Rosa out, and this is fought off to center field, it's going to drop. The ERA suggests that this club is going to win a lot of ball games. We'll have more on that in a moment. We want to check in now with Alana.
All right, guys, thanks very much. Time now for our Excel Energy fun fact. Mark Reynolds of the Diamondbacks has 11 home runs so far this season. Coming into the year, he had 89 with Arizona, giving him 100, making him third all-time in franchise history for the D-backs, behind Luis Gonzalez, who has 224, and Steve Finley, who has 153. Now, Steve Finley has 304 total career home runs. One of those was with the Colorado Rockies. He played 43 games for Colorado in 2007. That was his last season in the big leagues, guys.
That's a 4-6-3 double play.
Pitcher's best friend. After the blue hit, jam shot by Connor Jackson. Clint Varmus gets it, makes a backhand feed to Troy Tulowitzki. Strong throw to first. 2 outs.
72 pitches through 5 2/3 for Ubaldo. And with 2 outs, Stephen Drew will come up. A little more on the ERA. So the Rockies right now are 8th in baseball. It's both leagues with their 386 earned run average. Of the top 10 teams in ERA, you have Tampa #1, then the Padres, Cardinals, Giants, Mets, Mariners, Phillies, Rockies, Marlins, and Yankees. Only one of those teams is not above 500, the Seattle Mariners.
Well, it just shows you that you need it. But also, I think some of the credit has to go to the bullpen, the way they've been able to pitch, because that's also helping with that ERA.
Well, the Rockies have 2 guys right now that have an ERA, starting pitchers, below 1. Jimenez leading baseball.
Right.
Of course, Jeff France only thrown 2 games, but still.
It all starts out on that hill.
And that's an element of the game that will never change.
No, those guys set the tempo. They set the whole dynamic of that evening, what's going to happen by how they throw the baseball.
2-1 on Drew, and this fastball is lifted to left center field. Seth Smith trying to get there, he can't. And Stephen Drew has a double. Gee, it's interesting. The ball he hit in the first inning, I thought the Rockies would have no chance of catching the ball. That one off the bat, though it was hit well, I thought would.
Yeah, but the wind changed directions. Earlier it was blowing in, now it's blowing out to left field. Ball down for Stephen Drew with a little leg kick in the drive, and both hands stay on the bat because that ball was away from him. He just stayed on that baseball. And now think back to that double play that was turned, the 52nd double play that the Rockies turned, which leads the National League. If they hadn't turned that or something would have happened, that might have been a run with Stephen Drew hitting that double.
And a soft line drive. Barnes grabs it, and there's the end of your threat. Middle of 6, 3-0 Rockies. time for the Coors Light Freeze Can. Great running catch when we had an early rain shower, robbing Steve and Drew of an RBI double at least. And then Connor Jackson robbed Carlos Gonzalez in the bottom of the first inning. That was the Frost Brewed Coors Light Freeze Can. Troy Tulowitzki will lead it off in the 6th inning for the Rockies. He's 0 for 1 and a walk. There's Connor Jackson out in left field. You know, Rodrigo Lopez really pitched a pretty decent ball game. It's just he's going up against, as Jim Tracy says, the best pitcher in baseball right now.
Well, what he gave up the home run to Seth Smith in the first inning, gave up a couple walks in the third. That was followed by the triple. But besides that, he's kind of settled into a little bit of a nice groove now, where he's throwing the fastball just a little bit more often than he was earlier in the ball game.
He's retired 7 in a row. Last person to reach was Brad Hopp with that triple that brought in the 2 runs. Rodrigo is a native of Mexico. He's made his home for a long time in Arizona, so it's especially nice for him to play for the Diamondbacks. Real solid midweek crowd. Midweek crowds will start drawing even more folks now that schools are letting out in the metropolitan area.
Well, rock pile again. A lot of people out there.
Last night, just under 29,000 in the house. 1-2 on Troy. And this ball down the left field line. That will be a 10-game hitting streak for Tulowitzki. It will also be a double. Yet another double for Tulowitzki, his 15th of the year.
We talk about reacting on a ball inside. Well, this ball was low and inside on Troy. And his left foot, watch his left foot, folks. When that kind of goes in, it opens up real quick and turns over. That allows him to bring those hands inside. And just a double right inside the third base bag.
Here's Brad Hopp. Snyder smothers that. Well, you were a roving instructor for a long time and played in the big leagues for more than 10 years. You probably heard this line from hitting instructors. You probably hear it in your sleep still. Cover away, react in.
Well, yeah, because if you start to cover in, you can't react away. I mean, it doesn't. It's just not physically possible to do that. When you think away, the ball's in, all of a sudden everything just happens on instinct. And now it's Brad's turn right now. Go ahead and let's get that 4th run in. He's got to find a ball that he can get at least Troy over to third base, if not drive him in. But he's got to have something that's to the right side or deep enough where he can tag up.
This ball to center field, tagging up is Tulowitzki. I don't know if he'll be able to move up, but he's going to try. Chris Young, and yes, he is. I thought he may not go in that situation, but that's knowing your home ballpark. That's knowing arm strength, knowing everything.
And also being up 3-0, where you can take that little bit of a gamble. Even though that ball was squared up here right on the line, Chris Young had his momentum going towards third base. Troy does the right thing with that ball where it was. He tagged up with his right foot, so everything was in front of him. He took off. Now he's in scoring position. Arizona has to play the infield in because they cannot afford to fall behind 4-0.
Miguel Olivo has 21 RBIs, 1 for 2 in the ball game. Takes low, ball 1.
This is where Miguel has to think opposite field. Cover away. Cover away. Don't even worry inside.
Well, that'll work. Right up the middle. Base hit. 4-0 Colorado. Another RBI for Olivo, his 22nd. That there was not trying to do too much, was it, Huey?
No, it wasn't, because he was sinking away. If he'd been thinking, I'm going to try to hit a 2-run home run, that would have been an easy ground ball to either the shortstop or the third baseman. Ball was away. He just stayed squared up, centered part of the field. And with that infield in, your holes are so big out there. He just hit that ball right back up the middle. And let's not forget the job that Troy did getting over to third base, but also to Brad Hopp hitting that ball to allow him to get to third base so they can tack on one more run.
Ian Stewart with Olivo at first. He has a stolen base already. He takes off, swung on and missed. No throw by Snyder. He's like Ricky Henderson out there.
Well, if they're going to give it to you, why not? The swing by Ian Stewart caused Chris Snyder to have to wait back just a little bit, too. Didn't even make a throw over. And Chris Snyder said, you know what, forget it. I'm going to go ahead and let him get his second stolen base tonight.
It just throws off your game plan when you have guys with blazing speed like Miguel. Now, you know what? We've said it all year long. Miguel can really run. He really can. This is not a catcher. You know, he will sneak attack some people. But if you lined up and ran a 60-yard dash, Miguel Olivo beat a lot of people.
Well, it's just another thing that you can implement to help you or help your ball club win a game. Now he's automatically in scoring position again.
Sanders back, and Kelly Johnson will throw out Stewart. Olivo to third with 2 outs. Clint Barmes will come up. Now, they pitched around him in this situation last time. Let's see if they just go 4 wide ones this deep in the ball game. FSN Rocky Mountain is your home for exclusive Rockies coverage. 150 ball games coming your way all season long. Text FSN RM followed by a space in your name to 95323 to receive the latest Rockies updates right to your phone. Well, they're not going to intentionally walk Barmes. That pitch misses. By the way, Miguel Olivo at third over the last 6 ball games at Coors Field is 11 for 18, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, 3 walks, a .611 batting average. 2-0 on Barmes. Ubaldo's on deck.
We'll see if Chris Snyder stands up now and just gives the 4 fingers. Now he's going to go ahead with a veteran like Lopez. He knows what he's doing.
Now it's 3-0. You're going to stand up here?
No, yeah, but last time what he did is he went way right out into that area over there.
Well, if you're going to do that, might as well stand up, right? I mean, he literally almost set up in the left-handed batter's box, right?
What does George say? Might as well just hit him then, right?
Yeah. Well, Ubaldo Jimenez, runners at first and third. He chopped one off the plate in this situation in the second inning. And Rodrigo Lopez had to wait till it came down, fired to first, and it was a bang play at first. Ubaldo was out, otherwise he would have had a run. Here's hard throwing Juan Gutierrez. And this is chopped this time to Mark Reynolds. In the inning, the Rockies get a run on a couple of hits. They expand their lead to 4-0. Miguel Olivo, the RBI. back. Let's look back at the first inning. Seth Smith with one out. Drives one to deep left field. Over the track, over the wall. Home run number 6 for Smith. 1-0 Colorado. Then in the third inning with 2 outs, Brad Hop came up with 2 men on. First pitch he got was a fastball on the inside corner. He hit it off the base of the right center field wall. Stand-up triple, 2 RBIs for Hop. And then in the 6th inning, Miguel Olivo gets a drawn-in infield, a shot up the middle to bring home Troy Tulowitzki, who had doubled. 4-0 Colorado. It's brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address. Ubaldo Jimenez has given up 6 hits, no runs though. 15-inning scoreless stretch now for Ubaldo. And earlier this year he had a 25-plus inning scoreless stretch. Mark Reynolds, Chris Young, Chris Snyder, 6, 7, and 8. And this is a pop fly to right field. Brad Hop, against a dark sky, makes the catch. Time to go outside the box with Jack in the box. All right, the consecutive starts with at least 6 innings pitch for starting pitcher Adam Wainwright is number 1 with 15. Then Ubaldo Jimenez next. Ryan Dempster threw a gem the other day at 10. But I have to throw this qualifier out there. Ubaldo has a string of now 14 in a row going. He has thrown 6 or more in 38 of his last 39. He had a franchise record 25 in a row last year from May 1st to September 7th. Here's the 1-0 to Young, and the fastball at 96 in there for a strike.
80 pitches now on the evening for Ubaldo. Just really starting to kind of find the groove now. Like he's loosened up after 81 pitches.
I mean, he has set the bar so high. It's almost as if, you know, when he doesn't have a, you know, one hitter or something going to the 7th inning, you think, oh boy, he's just been a little bit off there. He's got a shutout.
Well, he does.
I'm guilty of that.
Well, I think we all are. But what he's done this year in 4 night starts too, just 1 run in 29 innings. That was going into tonight's ball game. I mean, that's just kind of the numbers that you talk about.
This ball's well hit to left field, but it's going to die in the glove of Seth Smith. 2 outs.
Rockies fans, for the best ticket value, purchase season tickets or prorated mini plan packages.
Been more balls to the outfield tonight, and honestly more balls that have been barreled tonight than we've seen all year long against Ubaldo. But to his credit, he's crossed home plate.
Well, that just shows you that the mindset, even though that you're getting some good swings on him, you still go up there just a little bit defensive. Even though you see the ball and you might put a good swing, it's not that extra little jump or the extra little twist that you might have in the hip rotation.
Chris Snyder was saying before the ball game that, yeah, I mean, you may get one under the chin with him, and then he may paint 2 on the outside corner. So, you know, the old line about, you know, it's not a guy you dig in against applies. 3-0 on Snyder. Jimenez will regather himself.
I like that deep breath right there. Okay, just take a moment. Step back off the mound. Miguel Olivo's doing the same thing. Okay, you're up 4-0. So what? Go ahead and throw a couple fastballs right there. See what he does with them. Back Apodaca looking on with interest. A little something off there at 95.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say that was the get me over fastball.
The BP fastball.
Yeah, it's BP fastball at 95. And this is on the ground, deep in the hole. Tulowitzki on the move, low throw, comes up with it. The absolute best in baseball, and Pickett throws out of the dirt. Great play by Troy, deep in the hole. 1, 2, 3, 7th inning for Ubaldo. Today's E470 Road Ahead is brought to you by E470, quick, easy, and available to anyone. Test drive it today. Tomorrow afternoon, the Rockies in Arizona will conclude this series. Make sure you join us. Pregame show at 12:30. Ball game a half hour later. Then the Dodgers are in town Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Monday afternoon on Memorial Day, the Rockies will open up a 3-game set at AT&T Park in San Francisco. Rockies up 4-0, bottom of the 7th inning. Got a new arm out there for Arizona. And tonight's call to the bullpen is brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST. Out there is Juan Gutierrez. He throws very hard. However, in 17 1/3 so far this year, Huey, he has given up 17 earned runs and 7 bombs.
Yeah, that's part of the reason his ERA is 8.83. I mean, you can throw 95, you can throw 96, but if you center cut it without any movement, it's going to get hit hard.
There's a fastball at 94 in there for a strike on Gonzalez. Fly ball to deep left field. Great catch by Connor Jackson. Robbed him of extra bases in the first. Walked, stole a base, scored a run in the third, and then a fly ball to left his last time up. Ball and a strike on Cargo in the starting lineup for the first time since Friday. A sore wrist. That's what's kept him out of the lineup. Pulled the string there. It's 1-2.
And that's the last thing you want. We talked about it in last night's broadcast. If you have a sore wrist, you go up to the plate, all of a sudden you start to do other things because you overcompensate. You don't want that wrist to hurt when you make that swing. Make sure it's good to go before you get back out there.
Spotter missed. 2-2.
Gutierrez used to be a guy for the Diamondbacks that would be coming in earlier into the, or excuse me, later into the game. Now he has to come in earlier because all those numbers that we talked about earlier, he hasn't been able to get people out.
This ball driven high and deep right center field. He's giving up another. Say goodbye to the drought for Carlos Gonzalez. He was 0 for 16. He's now 1 for 17. That was a monster shot. 5-0 Rockies.
Ball was like it was shot out of a cannon. He went down and got that. That ball was inside on him. A little leg kick and then the drive. He knew it as soon as he hit it that ball was going to go. It was just a matter of how far it was going to go. Because right through Gerardo Parra did not even move.
It went really far. It went. That'll elicit a smile from Cargo. Here's the 1-0 to Smith. And he hits it high and deep right center field. He's going to trap for the second time tonight. Back-to-back jacks. Number 7 for Smith. 2 tonight. 6-0 Rockies. It's his second 2-homer game of the year. April 25th against the Marlins, he had a pair.
That ball was up like the home run he hit earlier in the ball game, up and away from him. That time it was up more towards the inner third part of the plate, and he hit it into the bullpen of the Arizona Diamondbacks. We'll see why A.J. Hinch had to bring in Gutierrez, already down 4-0, because he hasn't done anything to help himself out.
It's the second time the Rockies have gone back-to-back in a game this year. And guess who the first pair were?
Same two?
Same two. Back on May 15th. 0-2 on Helt. And Gutierrez will get Helton at first. 1 out. That'll bring up Tulowitzki. Troy tonight, a ground ball to second, a walk, and a run scored in the third, then a double down the left field line, and a run scored. 6-0 Rockies. 6 runs on 7 hits. They've hit 3 home runs tonight. Troy Tulowitzki at the plate. Now, I want to tell you a story about Troy, because Troy really cares about kids. And I'm laughing because Huey's got the mullet going. But Troy's got a real mullet going. And he has spearheaded our Wins for Kids campaign this year. FSN Rocky Mountain and the Colorado Rockies. And Troy will continue to grow his mullet all year long. Now, you can get these Rockies baseball hats with the mullet coming out of the back.
Right there with the tulo.
We hope to have them in supply here at the ballpark beginning the next homestand. The way you get it is by donating $25 to Wins for Kids. And you could donate more. We'd love that.
Sure.
You could donate less, whatever amount you'd like to donate. But for $25, you will reserve one of these hats, and they're going to go fast. Again, the way to do it, go to ColoradoRockies.com/mullet.
You like that, don't you, Drew?
I do. And it did come off the back of my head. I know that. Yeah.
Here, you got to wear it. Okay.
Here, you talk. I'm going to take the headset off. Here we go.
Need a little help there on the front. We'll see how it goes.
How good is that, huh?
You know what? That looks nice.
You know what? Mark Stout, ball 4 on Tulowitzki. Mark Stout had one of the best mullets I've ever seen. He still has it on like an old driver's license, or he was in a rock and roll band back in
straight out of the 80s.
Oh, my goodness. But anyhow, Troy, and good for him. He's going to grow his mullet out. He's trying to get Spillboards to do the same thing. It's all to raise money, Wins for Kids. And eventually, the money will go to Children's Hospital and Special Olympics Colorado. So it's an awesome deal. Again, ColoradoRockies.com. That's a backslash, right? Backslash mullet. And you can also donate at Coors Field at the ticket windows and Guest Relations Center. Checks should be made out to Colorado Rockies Baseball Club. And fans, again, who donate $25 or more will receive a special mullet hat. Reserve yours today. You can go online right now as you're watching the ball game.
Oh, that's neat, too. In the past 4 seasons, Wins for Kids has generated over $200,000 for children's charities here in the Denver area. I mean, it all stays right here locally.
Brad Hopp fouls this one off. And with Troy jumping on board this year. And it was his idea, folks. This was his idea. Troy loves kids. And he wanted to give back, and he wanted to come up with a unique idea. And so
I like the mullet idea.
Yeah, he came up with the mullet idea. And hopefully we'll be able to raise, with your help, a couple $100,000 this year alone. 1 ball, 1 strike on Brad Hopp. This replay is brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. Brad Hopp, 2 outs in the 3rd inning. First pitch with 2 men aboard against Rodrigo Lopez. He hits it off the base of the wall in right center field. Gonzalez and Tulowitzki would score. Colorado Lottery replay. Swung on and missed. It's 2-2. And a reminder that any of your non-winning scratch tickets can be replayed in a second chance drawing. You do it at ColoradoLottery.com.
What was nice, too, about that, it was with 2 outs. A little backbreaker.
And now the Rockies have continued to add on. 2 in this inning on the 2 solo home runs. A run last inning. Gutierrez strikes out Hopp for the 2nd out. That'll bring up Miguel Oliva.
Twin bill tonight between Minnesota and the Yankees. Oh, that's right. A suspended game from yesterday.
Yeah, it was 0-0 after 5. And we're being told that when they resumed play today in that first game, Jeter led off for the Yankees with a home run, and that was it. Olivo out front, 1-1. It's already the 10th 1-0 game in baseball this year. One and two on Olivo.
Gutierrez says, forget it. I'm not going to throw my fastball anymore. I'll just show that and then also go to the slider, because the fastball been hit for a couple home runs this inning.
You know, I want to pass something along. Tyler Matzik was the Rockies' #1 pick last year, and most scouts had him as the top high school pitcher in the draft. Some thought he was the best pitcher, period, in the draft. Left-hander, really has a good feel for pitching and throws in the mid to upper 90s. This is slowly to the shortstop, and not going to get Olivo. A leg hit for Miguel to go with his 2 stolen bases tonight. Olivo's 3 for 4.
Just showing his wheels.
I'm telling you.
You know, once his ball got by Gutierrez, and I really thought he had an opportunity in Gutierrez to try to reach this. He just, and once he threw it, just kind of let it go. Right off the plate, Gutierrez just kind of reached for it. Stephen Drew did all he could by barehanded in one throw, in one motion, make the throw over to first base. Miguel said, I'm going to leg that out and get the base hit.
So Ian Stewart with 2 on and 2 outs. Ian is 0 for 3. Anyhow, Matzik made his pro debut. He was in extended spring. He made his pro debut 2 nights ago in Asheville. He pitched 5 innings of shutout baseball. He allowed 1 hit. In fact, he had a no-hitter going in the 5th inning. Struck out 5, walked 4. Folks, this is a rare arm that the Rockies were able to draft. Billy Schmidt, who's getting ready for this year's draft, which comes up on June 5th, 6th, and 7th. Schmidt and his staff did a great job in getting Matzik and
well, there's a lot
in the fold.
A lot of frequent flyer miles right now in the scouting department, because they're going to see every kid and what they did last year in the draft, what they're going to have to do here this year. And that every single year you're looking for that next guy, and it looks like they got one in Matzik. How about that? He goes out there in his first professional game in the South Atlantic League for Asheville and does what he did. And, you know, you kind of make sure with those type of guys that you don't overload them, and that's why they waited a little bit before they sent him out.
Foul tip. Yeah, you really want to limit how many innings a young arm, a 19-year-old kid, pitches in his first season of professional baseball. And even in ensuing years.
Sure.
You don't need 200. You don't need 200 inning minor league pitchers.
No, you start to build them up. You know, is it the first year you go out there and is it going to be 100 innings? Maybe the next year it's 110, and just kind of work their way up the ladder. You don't go out there and say, okay, give me 175 innings first year out of the gate.
This is a line drive base hit. Here comes Tulowitzki to the house with the 7th run. And Ian Stewart with his 25th RBI. Tacos for everybody tomorrow afternoon.
Go out for the day game tomorrow and get our tacos. Ian Stewart stayed on that ball and just drove it right back up the middle. The 4th strike zone, tried to work the slider inside, just hung it, felt high. Away from him, Ian takes it. Southwest Sky Cam, same identical swing, just a pretty approach on that pitch.
Well, he had an ERA above 8 when he came in, and unfortunately for Mr. Gutierrez, it's going to go up. 7-0 Rockies, 2 outs in the 7th. the Rockies scored runs, 7 of them. Don't forget to go to your participating Colorado Taco Bell location tomorrow between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies Tacos Special. Now that's a steal. Base hit from Ian Stewart to drive in Troy Tulowitzki with the 7th run. Olivos at second, Clint Barmas at the plate, facing Carlos Rosa. First pitch misses. Rosa just up to the big team. Has just 4 innings of work so far.
He came over from a trade with the Kansas City Royals back on May 1st. That's parts of 9 seasons in the Royals system. 5th appearance now on the season for Rosa. Fastball anywhere from 92 to 97 miles an hour, hard slider, and an occasional changeup.
78 home runs allowed now by Arizona. That's incredible. 2 balls and a strike. The Rockies, because Detroit gave up a couple home runs yesterday. The Rockies tied with Detroit fewest home runs allowed in baseball with 30. On the ground to Mark Reynolds.
Nice hustle from Ian Stewart.
Yeah, you know what? He didn't Cadillac in the second. He played the game the right way, went hard, made it a fairly close play. Rockies get 3 in the inning. Carlos Gonzalez hits one a mile, and then right behind him, Seth Smith with his 2nd of the night. We'll go to the 8th, 7-0 Rockies. Tech Institute in Denver, where you can make the world your workplace. Rockies got a run on a Seth Smith home run in the 1st, couple in the 3rd on a triple by Brad Hopp, 1 in the 6th, and then pair of home runs. Carlos Gonzalez, Seth Smith once again, and then a run-scoring hit by Ian Stewart. Rockies up 7-0. Ubaldo Jimenez continues on here in the top of the 8th. Carlos Gonzalez moves from center field to left field, and Dexter Fowler takes over in center. So Seth Smith comes out of the ball game. And Rusty Ryle will be the pinch hitter in the 9-hole for Rosa.
The leading pinch hitter for the D-backs, 6 for 20 on the season as a pinch hitter. Went into spring training as one of those guys, Ryle, that had to really battle to make the ball club. Ended up beating out Ryan Roberts.
Just off the outside corner at 97.
Well, that last pitch was a 91st pitch from Ubaldo Jimenez. He's due up first next inning. But this lead, if he gets out of this 1-2-3, no problem. That'll be it for him. get him out of there, try to keep his pitch count down. I understand people say, well, he'll have a chance for a complete game or a shutout. You know what? He's already given up some hits. Go ahead and get him out there. Preserve a little bit of that arm for his next outing and his future outing. And that's why Randy Flores and Rafael Betancourt are getting loose.
Ground ball. Vargas on the backhand side. Sets his feet. Throws out Rusty Ryle. Kelly Johnson will be coming up. Well, Jim Tracy tonight is managing his 162nd game for the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies going into tonight 97-44. If they can hold on to this 7-run lead, and you'd like to think they can with 5 outs left and Ubaldo on the hill, he'll have a record of 98 and 64 after 162 games. That's very special. In fact, the only team better since Jim Tracy took over in all of baseball, the defending world champion New York Yankees, slightly better over that same period of time. And what's more, here at home, 45-17 under Jim Tracy.
Home court advantage. You got to have that home field advantage, and you're talking about a .600 winning percentage. I mean, those are just staggering numbers, and it's not just in a short time; it's a longer time. Southwest Skycam looked like that ball might have caught the inside part of the plate.
That's the first walk allowed by Ubaldo. That'll bring up Gerardo Parra.
Tonight for Ubaldo, he's been pretty economical. 10 ground ball outs, 9 fly ball outs, 3 strikeouts. Just a couple pitches shy of his 100th for the evening.
That's a strike. I got a wild one for you that Doug Marino looked up. Ubaldo's now faced 266 hitters this year. 7 have scored.
That's staggering. I mean, you really can't even comprehend what kind of numbers those are.
266 and only 7 have scored. 0-2 on Parra. Here's the distribution. And it's a double play ball. There's 1 and there's 2. And that's all in the 8th inning for Arizona. The beat goes on. Standing ovation for Ubaldo Jimenez. 7-0 Colorado. Johns. 7th inning. Carlos Gonzalez got a low fastball from Juan Gutierrez. Gutierrez did not even want to look. Back wall of the bullpen. And then right behind him, Seth Smith with his second jack of the night as the Rockies go back to back. Jimmy John's delivery of the game. And moments ago in the dugout, Jim Tracy comes over and gives a hug to Ubaldo Jimenez. So after 101 pitches, even though he's got a shutout going, save some bullets for another day, it looks like.
Well, it's a smart move to do because you've got a big lead. Individual accomplishments, they don't mean a whole lot right now. I mean, yeah, you didn't give up any runs. You had 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. You gave up 6 hits. But the bottom line is your ball club is winning by 7. Get out of there. Go ahead. I mean, you had to come out of the last game because your legs were cramping a little bit. Save some of those later on for when you might need them to go 9 in July.
Yep. You know, Bob Gebhardt, who still lives here in town, former Rockies general manager, their first general manager and special assistant. There's Bob, there's Geb with Arizona. We were chatting about this yesterday. He said, you know, all those, you know, extra innings and extra pitches that you throw in April and May and June, if they're for just personal reasons, as Ryan Spilborghs will ground out to Drew, pinch hitting for Ubaldo. If you add them up, all of a sudden those bullets are taken away from late August and September when it may be even more meaningful. You got a 7-run lead.
Well, and that's part of the reason already this year Jim Tracy has not altered his rotation where he could have brought back Ubaldo, but he gave him that extra day. Even though there was a day off, he didn't mess with that rotation because of the opportunity to do that later on in the season. If you do it too early, now you can't ask the guys to do it later on. And that's what his thinking is right now, too.
Carlos Gonzalez grounds out. Time for the Breaks Plus Take a Break poll of the game. Do you like the selection for All-Stars? And 12% say yes, and 88% don't like it. They think, I think our line was, it's a popularity contest. Often it's, you know, team just stuff in the ballot box. This ball, Dexter Fowler's a roller to first, and it's a quick inning, a 5-pitch inning for Valdez. That's all for the Rockies. We'll go to the 9th inning with Colorado ahead 7-0.
Yes, I do.
They're 3 outs from going 2 games over 500 and seeing Ubaldo Jimenez go to 9-1. Time to check in with Mark Stout. Mark?
Drew, it is all about the numbers. 5 alive, number 5, Carlos Gonzalez, back in the lineup, coming up big. Lucky number 7, Seth Smith. couple of home runs in this game. And then we have 9, 10, and 11. Ubaldo, 9th win, 10-game hitting streak for Tulo. Number 11, Brad Hopp, coming through in the clutch. The numbers, the details in the postgame show coming up. Let's go back to Drew.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. Our Colorado Lottery replay. The night for Ubaldo Jimenez. Gave up 6 hits tonight. He struck out 3, walked only 1 batter. And though there was nothing flashy necessarily, it was dominance once again. After the 8 shutout innings, his ERA now stands at 0.88 through 10 starts. 0.88. It is late May, folks. Rafael Betancourt's numbers on the season. He'll be entrusted to get the final 3 outs.
Rafael trying to find that form that he had last year when he came over in the trade with Cleveland. He was just starting to get it, and then he got sick out in L.A., came back, and just hasn't had that pinpoint control that we're used to seeing from Rafael.
Betancourt. Pinpoint control on that pitch. He threw it right over the black. 26,320 in attendance tonight. You know what's going to start happening again once all the schools are out. Folks are going to start doing the math. Line drive, Tulowitzki will glove it. Connor Jackson's retired. They're going to start doing the math. They're going to say, okay, Jimenez is going to pitch this night, and he's going to pitch that day. And you're going to see the Rockies draw well anyhow,
sure.
But you're going to see an even greater jump on the days that number 38's on the hill.
Well, because every time he goes out there, he has a chance to do something special. Even tonight, he didn't have his great, we say his great stuff, because it wasn't overpowering at times. Still, he only gave up the 6 hits and 0 runs. That is the thing that's really evolved for Ubaldo, to be able to go out there and pitch and still throw up some unbelievable numbers when he doesn't have his best stuff.
Yeah. He has a 17-inning scoreless streak right now. That's the true evolution of a guy with a golden arm who's become a pitcher. You know, we didn't even mention this in his last start, but he was under the weather. That you know, the bad cold / flu bug that hit just about everybody on the club. Ubaldo got bitten by it also. One of the reasons probably he was dehydrated in Houston.
What happened to Jeff Francis too? Why he had to come out of the ball game the other day. The same sort of thing. Just went through the clubhouse, and hopefully they're on the back end of it now.
1-1 count on Stephen Drew. Good pitch. Well, repair that chip in your windshield. Call Safelite Elite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000, online at safelite.com. One out in the 9th inning. Stephen Drew against Rafael Betancourt. And that's barely nicked foul. You and I were looking before the ball game at Arizona's schedule over the next 5 weeks. You want to talk about brutal. They have 11 straight series, including this one, against teams above 500. And you should see their draw. Tell them about their draw in interleague play.
Well, first they have to go to San Francisco and then L.A., but their interleague, they have the Red Sox, the Tigers. They get the Yankees at home, but then go to face the Rays. I mean, that is just a brutal schedule. Throw in the Cardinals in there. Throw in the Rockies a couple different times. Next 36, 38 games, it could be a rough stretch for the D-backs.
Especially the way they have pitched.
I'm going to say Dan Herron, and even he hasn't pitched up to Dan Herron standards.
No, his record's 5-3, but his ERA is close to 5. Belton can't get it. Vargas can't get it. And it'll be a base hit for Stephen Drew. Bring up Adam LaRoche.
And don't forget the Rock Hinge Conference Center is available for game day or non-game day meetings.
So LaRoche, A fly ball to left field, a strikeout, and a little flare to second against Ubaldo Jimenez, facing Rafael Betancourt with 1 out in the 9th. 7-0 Colorado.
Kind of fitting just to end it on another double play. The Rockies have already turned 2 this evening.
On the last 90 years, coming into tonight, there were only 3 pitchers that had won 8 of their first 9 decisions with an ERA under 1. There was actually 4. One of them being Fernando Valenzuela. Ground ball, passed again, a diving Helton and Barnes. For identical ground balls for 2 on for Mark Reynolds.
Southwest Skycam, he tried to go away, and it was away, but LaRoche just went out and hooked it. First Todd Helton makes a dive, then Clint Barmas. Those guys are still giving it their all, even though they're up 7-0.
Right, listen, first thing you want to win the game.
Sure.
You'd like to get that 7th shutout of the season. Last year, the Rockies had 8. That's a club record. And we're talking about, late May. Reynolds at the plate, a single and 3 trips.
Well, the other thing, too, is you want to try to make sure Rafael Betancourt feels good about himself coming out of this game. The last thing you want him to see is give up a run or 2.
Sure. Kind of 2 seeing eye hits. Okay, 4 pitchers who had won 8 of 9 with an ERA under 1. Hoyt Wilhelm, Fernando Valenzuela, Juan Marichal, and Eddie Cicotti, who was with the White Sox in 1919 and was kicked out of baseball in the Black Sox scandal. And the only one who made it 9 out of 10 with a sub-1 ERA was Juan Marichal in 1966, the former Giant great, who went to 10-0 with an 0.80 ERA. The second looks to be that man, Ubaldo Jimenez. 2 outs away from being 9-1 with an 0.88 ERA. Swung on and missed. To steal a line from the very quotable Tim McCarver. On Bob Gibson, he once said, "He's the luckiest pitcher I ever saw. He always pitched on the days the other team didn't get any runs."
Well, that's the way the teams feel when they have to go up against Ubaldo now.
The bats go to sleep those days, I guess. Here's the 2-1. 3-1.
That's what's going to make that game out in San Francisco on Monday pretty interesting, with Lincecum and Ubaldo going against each other. That's going to be some kind of contest.
Lincecum has somewhere in his house the 08 and 09 National League Cy Young Awards. And maybe at the end of the year, that man will have the 2010 Cy Young Award in the National League. He's certainly the leading candidate right now. And he's about helping his club win baseball games and ultimately a division. This is fouled off into the upper deck. It's 3-2 on Mark Reynolds. Valenzuela, that year that he started out so well in '81, it was his rookie year. He finished, that was a strike year, so he didn't get to throw up ridiculous numbers because the season ended. It was interrupted for a considerable period. Juan Marichal went on to become a 25-game winner. Valenzuela would finish 13-7 with a 2.48 ERA. This is in the air to deep right field. Hot. Isn't going to get it. It's a home run. There goes the shutout. A 3-run bomb for Reynolds. His 12th of the year, and he has 39 RBIs.
That just shows you the strength of Mark Reynolds. Able to drive the ball out to right field. Hyundai Cam, 4-seam fastball, tailed back right off the sweet spot of the bat. Miguel Olivo set up on the outside part of the plate on the Southwest Sky Cam, but it drifted back just enough where Mark Reynolds could drive it over the head of Brad Hopp into right field.
Chris Young is 0 for 3. 7-3 Rockies. Reynolds with his 10th home run against the Rockies in the last 2+ seasons. It's the most anybody's hit against Colorado. Chris Young second on the list with 9.
Well, Troy's going to come in to buy Raphael just a little bit of time. But here's the problem. You had a 7-0 lead. Now you give up the 3 runs. Now you got to get up your closer in Manuel Corpus. Now he's been in this role before, so he understands that he's not going to go out there and just start firing away right away. But he still has to make sure that he gets loose enough in case Jim Tracy decides, you know what, I've got to go get him. I can't let this game start to slip away a little anymore.
You're going to see Bob Apodaca if he loses Young either way, and Corpus is going to have to, pick up the tempo because you don't want to get in a situation where the tying run comes to the plate.
No, and you got to bring him in before that. And that's why Bob's up real close to the top step of the dugout. Got a break on that last pitch. It was outside the forward strike zone, but it was called a strike.
And this ball is in the air to deep center field. This has got a chance to get out. At the top of the wall, Dexter Fowler makes the catch. But Dexter's 6'5". Where he reached up, he didn't jump. Where he reached up, he still may have taken a home run away.
Boy, when that ball was hit, I thought it had a chance to get out. And you're right, Drew, it might have, but Dexter playing just a little bit deeper, goes back. He had it the whole way. Stood there, realized, you know what, he didn't have to really jump to get that. Just go up on those tippy toes and reach it. Cam really slows the action down, but Dexter, this is what it kind of seems like to him because he's so smooth out in center field.
And the first pitch in there for a strike on Chris Snyder. That Hyundai Cam, it slows everything down so much the ball actually never did get there.
But it did in real speed.
And the great thing for Dexter is, let's see the end of it. This is the best thing, well, the second best thing. The best thing is he caught it. The second best thing is he kept his glove.
He didn't have to hop over the fence.
Right. Two and one. I asked Dexter about that the other day, and I said, it was a little frightening going over the fence because you don't know what you're going to land on. He said, yeah, absolutely. He said, but the neat thing is on the back side of the fence, there were actually rails, so he could actually climb back over to the top of the fence and then hop. This is popped up. This should be the ball game. Helton in foul ground. The Rockies win it. They've won 4 in a row. 7-3 final. Ubaldo Jimenez is now 9-1 with an 0.88 ERA, 8 shutout innings. For the first time this year, the Rockies have won 4 straight. A 7-3 final, and Colorado's now 2 games north of 500 at 24-22. Our Ranger player of the game, you know who it is, Ubaldo Jimenez. 8 shutout innings. He allowed 6 hits. He walked just 1, struck out 3. He's our Granger player of the game. He's 9-1. The Rockies, all smiles, high fives. The Diamondbacks fall to 20-27. Jimenez 9-1. Former Rocky Rodrigo Lopez takes the loss. He's 2-3. Stick around. The post-game report is next.